is Lanni Marchant. I'm a Canadian marathoner and criminal defense attorney down here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I am the Canadian record holder in the marathon, the half marathon, and the 30K. So I kind of have a bit of a double life going on down here. Depending on court, if it's a day that I'm not in court and I'm just going to work from home or just go by the office, I'm up 6:30 to 7. I get in some activation exercises in the morning and then do my morning training session, which can be anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. Then I have about an hour or so break where I can stretch or recover, and then go do a strength session sometime around lunch. And then my afternoon is pretty much research or working at the office. And then I train again in the evenings. I do a short run in the evenings, and repeat it again. I definitely think recovery is probably the most important part of my training. It's probably more important than the mileage I'm putting in. For me, it's important to sleep well, eat well, and then repair the damage I'm doing to my body throughout training. And that's where using a product like Recovery Pump is key. Before I received the Recovery Pump, I think it was about a month ago I received it, I was primarily foam rolling, which I think a lot of athletes do. But the problem with that is when you're busy, you can't multitask while you're foam rolling. And in my double life that I have, it's kind of difficult to, the first thing I was going to cut out would be foam rolling. Whereas now, I can use the Recovery Pump and eat my breakfast before I have to go to court, or have the legs on while I'm researching from home. I use the Recovery Pump for certain once a day, a lot of the time twice a day. I use it typically after my morning session, either between the running and the strength session, or I'll wait and do it after the strength session. And then I will use it again in the evenings after my second run. I typically have it set at between 75 and 85, and I'll sit in the legs for about 45 minutes. I've definitely noticed using the Recovery Pump that my second run of the day is a lot less of a death march. The junk from the previous training, especially if I've been to the gym doing a lot of squats and lunges, the junk's out of my legs on that evening run, so it's still a recovery pace and recovery run, but the Recovery Pump has definitely pumped out a lot of the garbage that built up in there throughout the morning. My schedule year to year is always the same, so using Recovery Pump this year, I was able to directly compare to running a 10K championship, flying home the same day, and running 20 to 22 miles the next day. This year, having, like I said, using Recovery Pump before and after the race, I was able to feel pretty good on my 22-mile run the next day, threw the legs on again right after that 22 miles, and something like that usually would have worn my legs out, and I would have felt it for 3 or 4 days after, and I was fine that following Monday and felt perfectly good in my track session on Tuesday. I was a bit concerned, just going through airport security. They seem to always want to tear apart your bags, and it scanned through, and they didn't even pull me to do a secondary search on my bag. The legs compressed pretty well and pulled up really well into my carry-on rolly bag, and I kept the generator part separate just for space reasons and put it in the backpack. Yeah, I had no issues with it. It's really lightweight. I'm a little person, so I don't want anything heavy. I definitely would recommend Recovery Pump to other athletes. I've added it into my recovery system, and I've definitely noticed a change. I think a lot of athletes could benefit from it. Like I said, I think rest and recovery is key, and the benefit with Recovery Pump is it gives you that. It works the junk out of your legs for you, and and if you're going to sit and watch an episode